space, and it's incredible to think what it's like to be inside there. And we have a couple astronauts on board with us here on our Fox shuttle, talking to us about what it's like to be inside right now. I want to go back to Paul Lockhart. He is a guy who has a couple of trips to the International Space Station under his belt. And Paul, what do you think? Did that go off pretty much seamlessly, you think?
Well, from all the lack of communication back and forth, I could tell that was almost a flawless launch. That was beautiful. Beautiful weather, beautiful launch, beautiful engines, beautiful crew.
Oh, well, that is wonderful to hear. And it looked beautiful from our vantage point as well, but then again, neither of us have been up in space. The Discovery commander, Mark Kelly, he is 44 years old, and he has basically gone into space 3 times. And he has actually said that though he is the commander, he envies the spacewalkers. He says, I kind of wish it was me getting to go outside. There will be spacewalkers that each spacewalk, I understand, will approximately last 6.5 hours. Tell me what the spacewalkers' mission is.
Well, the main primary mission for the spacewalkers is to attach and make sure that Kibo, the Japanese experimentation module, is connected properly to the International Space Station. So there's going to be a lot of work involved, maneuvering their bodies around in space, getting everything into place, and then making sure all the connections are done properly. And then there's some cleanup items from the last mission that they have to do, so they have to move some parts around.
Paul, stand by. A quick commercial break. Much more. Shuttle Discovery now in space. Next.
Discovery.
The captioning for this program is brought to you by...
They itch, they sweat, they burn. Foot dermatitis? Gold Bond foot powder tackles the itch and keeps feet dry. Gold Bond works as hard as your feet.
4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Shuttle Discovery. Combate Kudasai. Best of luck to the International Space Station's newest laboratory.
A spectacular launch by the Space Shuttle Discovery. From our vantage point, it looked flawless, and the Discovery is now in orbit. But let's ask the experts if this was a flawless launch. We have Janice Voss with us. She has spent 49 days in outer space aboard various space shuttles. Janice, I know you watched the launch. Again, it looked flawless to us, but you know what? The Columbia launch in 2003 also looked flawless to the untrained eye. Right now, correct me if I'm wrong, experts are reviewing this tape, making sure that everything went according to plan. Sometimes you can see something in this videotape that could spell trouble later in the mission. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's a whole process they follow, starting with evaluating the video that you're showing. You'll see pieces coming off, and they look at what time they come off to understand how important it is. And then there's the survey that the crew does, and they use all of that video and digital still imagery. They take pictures of the tank, right? That's what the crew is doing right now, is taking pictures of the tank to document all kinds of things to make sure the crew's safe.
Janice, it's Julie Banderas again. At what point would you say is the most dangerous part of liftoff? From the moment that it leaves the launch pad to the point where we see those rocket boosters detach from the shuttle?
I will quote you John Young, who was interviewed after his STS-1 flight, the first flight of the shuttle, when he was asked that question. He said the most dangerous part is the time from the main engine ignition to wheel stop. And that's true.
Okay, and one of the safest parts of the mission is when Phil Keating leaves Cape Canaveral. Phil Keating is there. He's been watching the entire development. Phil, just teasing. What was that launch like? I know you've seen a few of them, and they always seem to be a moving experience for you.
Yeah, I was just telling my fellow astronaut, Janice, I was telling her how, when I was talking about the thrill of watching it, and actually I was watching the flame, and you see how long the flame is, and it was actually so bright I had to look away, but I forgot about the percussion as it's going up and the westward wind is then blowing the sound of the liftoff. It's just whop, 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 whop. It's thunderingly loud, and you really feel it in your chest, and it's just a thrilling feeling. And by the way, Greg, I am about 2 hours, T-minus 2 hours to departure of Cape Canaveral.
All right, the authorities will be able to breathe a sigh of relief. Phil Keating, thank you very much for your expert coverage.
And Janice Voss as well.
Phil Lockhart provided coverage earlier from Washington, D.C. Folks, all the news on Florida and Michigan.